Welcome to Coffee Break. Thoughtful conversations for a busy world. Let's begin.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. If you're a regular listener, you know the drill. We usually take a massive stack of business books, right? Mm-hmm. Or a 100-page white paper on market trends, or some dense piece of academic research, and we crush it down into something you can actually use.
Right, the actionable insight.
Actionable insight. We look for the how-to, the strategy, the hack. We are, usually in the business of addition, how to add revenue, how to add productivity.
How to add skills to your toolkit.
Exactly, how to add more.
That's the standard operating procedure. I mean, we live in an additive culture. More is always better.
Exactly. But today we are doing the exact opposite. We're looking at a source text that is terrifyingly short. It's practically manifesto, just a few pages of really heavy-hitting text.
Right.
But the implications of it are they're massive. We aren't talking about adding anything to your life. We are talking about subtraction.
And subtraction is painful. I mean, really painful. Human beings are wired to hoard resources, connections, status. Subtraction goes against our very biology.
It really does.
Yeah.
So the topic is peace. And before you roll your eyes and think we're about to tell you to, download a meditation app or move to a yurt in the Andes.
Please don't.
Stop. That is not what this is. We aren't talking about peace as some kind of vibe.
No, not at all. The source we have today, The Hidden Cost of Peace, it challenges the fundamental definition of the word. We tend to think of peace as freedom from noise, freedom from work. It's what happens when you retire. It's passive. It's supposed to be cheap. It's just, the air that fills the room when the noise stops.
Right. Peace is the default state, and stress is the expensive interruption. I mean, that's how I've always viewed it. But this source, it opens with a line that just completely destroys that assumption. Right from the get-go.
It's a killer opening line.
It says, nobody talks about how expensive peace is.
Expensive. That's the word that hooks you, right? We associate expensive with chaos. A lawsuit is expensive.
Yeah, divorce is expensive.
A failed product launch is expensive. But peace, how can peace be expensive? That doesn't even make sense at first.
That is the question we are going to spend this whole deep dive answering. Because if you are listening to this, you likely fit our learner profile. You're building a career, maybe you're running a business, you're juggling a family.
You're busy.
You are high functioning, but you are high stress. And you probably tell yourself, I'll have peace when?
Oh, yeah. When I hit this revenue goal. When the kids are in college.
When I finish this huge project. It's always just around the corner.
Always deferred. It's the peace as a reward fallacy.
Exactly. This source argues that peace isn't a reward you get at the finish line. It's a luxury product you have to purchase right now, today.
And the price tag is staggering. It suggests that the reason you are stressed isn't because the world is too loud. It's because you are, too cheap to pay the bill for silence.
Damn. That is a call-out. I mean, that stings a little bit to hear.
It does. It's provocative for a reason.
So today, we're going to audit your life. We're going to look at the 3 specific currencies the source claims you need to spend: money, time, and ego.
The big 3.
And we're going to look at the 4 things you have to effectively buy your way out of: drama, bad clients, bad habits, and bad relationships.
And fair warning to everyone listening, by the end of this, you might just realize you've been too broke in more ways than one to afford your own happiness.
Let's dive in. I want to start with that opening salvo, that first line. Nobody talks about how expensive peace is. Why is that? Why is there this, conspiracy of silence around the cost?
I think it comes down to how we value intangibles in our economy. And I mean both the global economy and our personal household economies. We value things we can touch.
Right. A car, a house, a diploma on the wall.
Things you can put on a balance sheet. We understand that those things cost money, but peace is a feeling. And we're culturally conditioned to believe feelings should be free.
Or that feelings are just a matter of mindset.
Yeah.
Like if I'm stressed, I just need to choose to be calm.
Yeah.
I just need to breathe deeper or, do some gratitude journaling.
Exactly. The whole good vibes only thing. We treat peace as a character trait. Oh, she's just such a peaceful person. She was born that way. But the source is reframing peace as a transaction.
A transaction.
A transaction. And if you view peace that way, it changes the physics of your life. It means if you don't have it, it's not because you're broken or you're an anxious person. It's because you haven't paid the bill.
That's actually kind of relieving to hear. It takes the shame out of it. It's not a moral failing on my part.
It's a budget issue.
It's a budget issue.
Yeah, precisely. But it's also terrifying because, well, the bill is due. Think about the concept of opportunity cost in economics. We all learn this in school. Every choice you make has a cost equal to the value of the best alternative you didn't choose.
Sure.
The source is applying this to our emotional state. The cost of peace is the value of the chaos you have to give up.
Wait, hold on a second. The value of the chaos. That sounds like a contradiction. Chaos doesn't have value. Chaos is bad. That's the thing we're trying to get away from.
Does it not have value, though?
Yeah.
Let's really look at it. Let's look at the entrepreneur or the climber in the corporate world. What does chaos look like for them?
A full calendar, back-to-back meetings.
A full calendar. It looks like being in demand. It looks like your phone is blowing up. It looks like being the hero who parachutes in to put out all the fires.
Okay, see what you're saying. There is immense social and financial value attached to that kind of chaos.
There is. It's validation.
If I'm running around like a headless chicken, I feel important. I feel needed. My inbox has 100 unread emails, therefore I matter.
Exactly. But if I'm sitting quietly in a room, maybe reading a book on a Tuesday afternoon,
I feel guilty. I feel like I'm slacking.
you feel irrelevant. You feel lazy.
I feel useless. Yeah, 100%.
That is the cost. That feeling. To buy peace, you have to sell your busyness. And for high achievers, busyness is their primary currency. It's how they prove their worth to the tribe, to their boss, to themselves.
So the source is asking, are you willing to liquidate your status as the busy, important person to purchase the state of the peaceful person?
And that's a trade most people aren't willing to make.
That's a heavy lift. And we're fighting our own biology here too, aren't we? I mean, our nervous systems can almost get addicted to that low-grade hum of anxiety. It feels normal.
We are. We absolutely are. We mistake high cortisol for high performance. We think if the engine isn't constantly redlining, the car must be broken.
Yeah, if I'm not stressed, I'm not working hard enough.
And this source is saying, no, the car is fine. You just need to stop driving it off a cliff every day. But stopping costs you momentum. It costs you that feeling of importance.
So the core thesis here is, peace is an active, expensive choice that involves subtraction. It is not some passive gift you receive for good behavior.
Correct. It is a purchase. And the first currency you have to put on the counter is the one that, well, it's the one that hurts the most for a lot of people. Money.
Let's get into the specifics then. The source explicitly links bad clients to the cost of money. Now, we have a lot of freelancers, consultants, agency owners listening. When they hear bad client, they're probably thinking annoying client.
Right, the client who asks for the logo to be bigger for the 10th time.
Yeah, or the client who sends way too many emails about trivial things.
The scope creeper.
But the source seems to be pointing to something much darker than just annoying. This isn't about minor frustrations.
No, we have to define bad client within this context, the context of peace. An annoying client costs you a little bit of patience. A bad client costs you your nervous system regulation.
Okay, unpack that. Nervous system regulation.
This is the client whose name in your inbox makes your stomach physically drop.
Oof, yes.
The client who gaslights you on deliverables you know you sent. The client who questions your integrity. The one who calls you at 8 p.m. on a Friday and expects an immediate answer because they don't respect your time at all.
The Sunday scaries on a Tuesday afternoon, that feeling.
That's the one, exactly. Now, here is the transaction the source proposes. Let's say this client represents, I don't know, $4,000 a month in revenue.
That's real money. That's $48,000 a year.
That's real money. It pays the mortgage, it buys the groceries, it goes into the retirement fund. It's significant.
And the source says, walk away.
The source says peace costs money. That means you have to, in effect, take that $48,000 a year, crumple it up, and throw it in the trash. You have to actively reject it.
See, that's where people stop. That's the sticking point. They hear that and they say, I can't. I literally cannot afford to lose that much money just to feel a little better. And honestly, isn't that a valid point? We aren't all sitting on trust funds here.
It is a completely valid economic argument if you only look at the revenue column on your spreadsheet. But this source is forcing us to look at the hidden expense column. What is the cost of goods sold for that specific client?
You mean the time it takes to do the work?
It's so much more than hours logged on a timesheet. It's cognitive overhead. It's psychic RAM. if you spend 3 hours actually doing the work for them, but you spend 10 additional hours dreading the work, venting to your spouse about the work, and lying awake at night thinking about their unreasonable feedback, what is your actual hourly rate?
It plummets. It's got to be. If I bill at $100 an hour, but I spend, say, 5 hours stressing for every 1 hour, I'm actually working. I'm actually making, what, like $16 an hour?
Exactly. You are working for minimum wage emotionally, but because the bank account shows a deposit of $4,000, you trick yourself into thinking you're winning. The source is forcing you to do the real math. The hidden cost is that this client is actually a debt you are servicing with your sanity.
A debt you're servicing with your sanity. That's a powerful way to put it.
It's an emotional mortgage with an infinite interest rate.
But let's play devil's advocate for a minute. What about the person who's just starting out? Or the person who says, I have kids, I have student debt, I don't have the luxury of choosing peace, I have to grind. Is this advice just for the privileged?
That is a crucial nuance, and it's important not to gloss over it. The source acknowledges peace costs money. If you have zero money, you cannot buy peace yet. You're in pure survival mode.
Okay.
In survival mode, chaos is the environment. You don't have a choice. You have to fight. You have to take the bad client because you have to eat. You have to keep the lights on. We're not talking about that phase.
So this is advice for people who have moved past pure survival into the accumulation phase, maybe.
Yes. But I'd argue that many of our listeners are in that accumulation phase, but they are still stuck in a survival mindset. They have enough to pay the bills without that one toxic client. Maybe they'd have to cut back on vacations or dining out, but they wouldn't starve.
Right, their basic needs are met.
Their needs are met, but they are terrified of the Embry pipeline. They think, if I say no to this money, the universe will stop sending me money altogether. It's an all-or-nothing belief.
The scarcity mindset. Get it while the getting is good. A bird in the hand.
It's resource guarding. It's primal. It's understandable. But here is the paradox, and this is the aha moment for so many entrepreneurs. You cannot attract the dream client, the one who pays $10,000 and respects all your boundaries, if your hands are completely full holding on to the nightmare client who pays $4,000.
You literally don't have the bandwidth. Your calendar is full. Your mind is full.
You don't have the bandwidth to even spot the opportunity when it comes along, let alone pursue it. Your energy is being siphoned off by the low-value, high-stress work.
So paying the money cost is essentially, it's an investment. You're taking a calculated short-term loss for a potential long-term gain.
It's a restructuring of your personal and professional portfolio. You are dumping a toxic asset. And when you dump a toxic asset, yes, you take a loss on the books. It hurts in the short term, but you stop the bleeding.
I like that image. Stop the bleeding, because a bad client is a hemorrhage. It's not a paper cut.
They are. And notice the source links bad clients with bad habits. I think the bad habit here is the habit of undervaluing your own sanity. We treat our mental health as an infinite renewable resource.
Like it'll just bounce back no matter what.
I'll just push through, I'll just drink more coffee, I'll just vent about it for an hour and then I'll be fine.
We treat ourselves like a machine that never needs maintenance. The whole I'll sleep when I'm dead culture.
Correct. And when the machine inevitably breaks, and it will break, in the form of burnout, autoimmune issues, divorce, the financial cost of that breakage is infinitely higher than the $4,000 a month you were so desperately trying to save.
That's the real ROI calculation, isn't it? The cost of peace is high, but the long-term cost of chaos is total bankruptcy.
Emotional, physical, and often financial bankruptcy. If you burn out completely, your income drops to zero. That is the actual risk you are running by holding on.
So step one in this whole peace purchase process, audit your revenue. Is there dirty money coming in, money that costs you more to earn than it actually provides in value?
And then being brave enough to turn off that tap. That's the hard part.
Let's move to the second currency, time. And the situations the source points to here are drama and bad relationships. Now, logically, this confuses me at first. Drama takes up so much time. Fighting takes time. Listening to gossip takes up time. Shouldn't walking away from drama save me time?
You would think so. And in the long run, it absolutely does. But the source says it costs time. We need to unpack the switching cost.
What do you mean by switching cost?
Think about a bad relationship. It doesn't even have to be a romantic one. Let's say it's a friend group or a set of colleagues you've kind of outgrown. Their main way of bonding is complaining.
Oh yeah, the grievance-based friendship.
Grievance-based friendship. They bond over being against management. They bond over a shared crisis. You spend, say, 10 hours a week with them, at lunch, at happy hour, on that private Slack channel.
Okay.
If you walk away, if you just stop engaging, what happens to those 10 hours?
I get them back.
You get them back as a void, as empty space on your calendar. You are suddenly alone.
The loneliness gap.
Precisely. The gap between the familiar chaos you knew and the peaceful life you haven't built yet. And that gap is terrifying for most people. It is silent. It is, frankly, boring.
Boredom. We don't talk enough about the sheer panic that boredom can induce in high achievers.
Boredom is the withdrawal symptom of a drama addiction. And drama is an addiction. It provides little hits of dopamine. It provides a narrative. He said this, then she did that. Can you believe the nerve?
It makes you feel alive. It gives you a plot line for your day.
It gives you a plot line. When you cut that off, you flatline for a little while. There's no more story.
So the time cost isn't just the hours you lose in the breakup itself, it's the quality of the time you gain back. You have to spend time just sitting in that discomfort, resisting the urge to text them back, resisting the urge to, stir the pot just to feel something.
It's rehab time. You are in detox from other people's energy. And detox feels like it lasts forever. You might sit there on a Friday night, no drama, no fighting, and feel completely and utterly empty. You have to pay that time to heal and find new ways to fill it.
There's also the logistical time of the breakup, right? If we're talking about bad relationships in a business context, say a toxic business partner, unwinding that relationship is a nightmare.
Oh, massive. It's a huge time suck. Legal fees, endless meetings, separating financial assets, trying to explain it to clients without looking unprofessional, that can consume your life for months.
And that's why people stay.
A lot of people stay in bad partnerships for years because it's just too much hassle to leave. They are unwilling to pay the upfront time cost of the exit, so they agree to pay the life cost of staying.
That's the subscription model of misery again, isn't it?
Yeah.
You pay a little bit of your soul every single day because you don't want to pay the big lump sum of time to get out.
Exactly. And let's talk about drama in the workplace more broadly. The office politics.
The water cooler gossip, the Slack channel back-channeling, the speculation.
Right. If you decide you're going to purchase peace in that environment, you have to actively opt out of that. You have to be the person who says, you know what, I'm not going to participate in the trash talk about the new hire, or I'm not going to speculate on the layoffs.
You become the boring one. You become the square. They stop inviting you to lunch.
You become the outsider. And this bridges us directly into the bad relationships aspect. Bonds are so often formed through shared enemies. We both think the boss is an idiot, so we are friends.
Yeah, it's a very common social glue.
And if you stop hating the boss, or at least you stop talking about hating the boss, you dissolve the glue. You break the bond.
You lose your tribe, or what you thought was your tribe.
You lose your tribe. And finding a new tribe, let's call it a peace tribe, that takes a lot of time. You might go months without a real work friend. You might spend a lot of Friday nights alone. That is a heavy, heavy cost.
It really challenges our most fundamental need for belonging. We'd rather belong to a toxic group than be alone in a healthy state.
That is human nature 101. We are herd animals. For our ancestors, exile from the tribe literally meant death. So that fear is baked into our DNA. The source is asking you to be a lone wolf for a little while.
Right.
To walk across a metaphorical desert to find a better pack. And most people look at that desert and say, nah, you know what? I'll just stay here in the swamp. At least I have company.
At least I have company. It's bleak, but it's so true. So currency number 2 is time. The time spent rebuilding, the time spent feeling lonely, the time spent being bored out of your mind.
And the time spent figuring out who you are when you aren't constantly fighting something or someone.
This leads us perfectly to the third currency. And honestly, I think this is the one that actually stops most people. Money we can earn back. Time, well, it passes anyway. But the source says peace costs ego.
This is the killer. This is the final boss in the video game of personal growth.
Why does peace cost ego? They seem like they should go together.
Because the ego thrives on conflict. It loves it. The ego defines itself by being right, by being the winner, by being acknowledged as superior.
I am right and you are wrong. I am the victim, you are the villain. My version of events is the correct one.
Exactly. Those are the ego's favorite stories. Now let's go back to that drama scenario. Someone at work spreads a rumor about you that isn't true, or that bad client blames you for their mistake in an email to your boss. What does your ego scream at you to do?
Fight back. Set the record straight. Draft the perfect scathing email with screenshots attached as proof.
CC their boss, CC everyone, prove them wrong, destroy them with facts and logic.
Yes. Vindication. Justice.
And the source argues that justice, as the ego defines it, and peace are often mutually exclusive. To buy peace, you often have to deny your ego the satisfaction of the fight. You have to let the other person be wrong and let them get away with it.
Oof. That physically hurts to even think about. To let someone think they won when they were wrong. To let them walk around telling people their incorrect version of the story.
To let them think they won, to let them tell their version of the story to all their friends, and you say nothing. You just walk away. You disengage.
That feels like defeat.
Yeah.
Feels like letting them win.
To the ego, it is defeat. That is why it's a cost. You are paying with your pride. You are swallowing the bitter pill of being misunderstood in exchange for the sweet fruit of not being involved anymore.
It's that old cliche, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?
It's a cliche because it's the fundamental question of the human experience. And most of us, if we're being honest, choose right every single time. We will burn our entire weekend, our sleep, our stomach lining, just to prove a point to someone we don't even respect.
Let's apply this to our learner profile, the high achiever. How does ego play into the bad client or bad job scenario for them?
It's the fixer identity. It's huge. Many high achievers pride themselves on being able to handle anything. I can turn this project around. I can manage this difficult boss no one else can, but I can. I'm resilient.
Quitting is for losers. I don't quit.
Exactly. That's the ego talking. So if you walk away from a bad client or a toxic job, your ego takes a massive hit. It tells you, I failed, I couldn't hack it, I'm weak.
So you have to purchase your peace by accepting the label of quitter in your own mind.
You have to accept your own humanity, your own limitations. You have to be able to say, I have limits and this situation has exceeded them. The ego hates limits. The ego wants to be godlike and invincible. Admitting this situation is hurting me and I need to leave is a profound act of humility.
It's really about changing your entire value system. The ego values external validation and dominance. Peace values internal stability and calm. And you can't serve both masters.
You really can't. And this brings us back to bad habits again. One of the most expensive bad habits that we all have is the need to have the last word.
Oh, the reply button? The siren song of the reply button?
The reply button, the comment section on social media, the burning urge to correct someone on the internet who is clearly wrong.
The ultimate peace killer. A total black hole for energy.
Think about the cost there. You see something wrong online, your ego flares up, you engage, you spend 45 minutes crafting the perfect response, arguing with a total stranger, you are agitated, your blood pressure is up. What did you actually buy with that time and energy?
I bought the fleeting feeling of being right for about 5 seconds.
For a second.
Yeah.
And then they reply with something even dumber and you're angry all over again. The peace purchase option is to just scroll past. You pay the ego cost of letting someone be wrong on the internet.
Which feels surprisingly hard to do sometimes. It really does.
It is incredibly hard. It requires a level of self-assurance and internal validation that most of us just haven't built yet. It requires you to know who you are without needing to prove it to the world, comment by comment.
Okay, so we've laid out the costs: money,
Yeah.
time, ego. We've laid out the items we have to discard: bad clients, drama, bad habits, bad relationships. It sounds exhausting. It sounds like a lot of loss.
It is loss. That's why the source uses the word expensive. You are liquidating assets. You are downsizing your life.
So why do it? Why would anyone do it? If I have to lose money, lose my work friends, and lose my pride, what is the ROI? What is the actual return on investment for peace?
The ROI is ownership.
Unpack that for me. Ownership of what?
When you are entangled in bad clients, drama, and constant ego battles, you are a renter in your own life. You don't own anything. Your mood for the day is dictated by whether that client sent a nasty email.
Right.
Your weekend plans are dictated by your friend's latest crisis. Your self-worth is dictated by whether you won that pointless argument. You own nothing.
You're just reactive, constantly putting out fires.
You are entirely reactive. You are an NPC, a non-player character in everyone else's video game. When you pay the price for peace, you buy the deed to your own life. You get to decide who enters your property. You decide how you spend your energy. You decide how you want to feel.
That's powerful. It's the difference between being a leaf blowing in the wind and being the tree that's rooted in the ground.
Yes. And there is a compounding effect that's crucial. We talked about bad habits like procrastination or people-pleasing. When you walk away from those, when you pay the ego cost of setting a boundary or the discomfort cost of saying no, you reclaim a huge amount of energy. That energy can then be reinvested into finding good clients, building healthy relationships, doing deep, meaningful work.
So the dip is temporary. You lose the bad money from the toxic client. But because you have peace and clarity, you are sharper, you're more creative, you're better to work with, and so you eventually attract better, higher-paying money.
Exactly. It's a classic J-curve you see in business investment. You have to dip down initially to invest, to retool, and then you skyrocket past where you were before, but you have to be willing to survive the dip.
And you have to trust the math. You have to believe fundamentally that peace is actually a productive asset, not just a fluffy, nice-to-have luxury.
In the modern knowledge economy, your attention and your clarity are the most valuable resources you have, period. If your attention is constantly fractured by drama and your clarity is clouded by stress, you are operating at, maybe 40% capacity?
At best.
Buying peace brings you back to 100%. That is a massive competitive advantage in any field.
So, in a weird way, what this source is describing, it's actually a productivity hack.
The ultimate productivity hack. But the entry fee is brutally high.
We've been very philosophical, which is great. But I want to get tactical for the listener who is nodding along right now but feeling completely paralyzed by all this.
Yeah.
How do we start? Do we just, fire all our clients and ghost our friends tomorrow?
Please don't do that. That's crash dieting your life. You'll just rebound hard into new forms of chaos. You need to start with micropayments.
Okay, I like that. Micropayments. Give me an example of a micropayment.
Start with the ego currency. It's the cheapest one to test drive. The next time a very minor conflict arises, your spouse corrects your grammar in a casual conversation, or a colleague makes a slightly snarky comment in a meeting practice paying the bill.
You mean just take it. Don't fight back.
Just take it. Let it go. Say, you know what, you're right. Or just say nothing. Let the silence hang there. In your mind, visualize yourself handing over a $5 bill to buy your freedom from the next 10 minutes of pointless argument.
Wow.
Feel the little sting of the ego, and then immediately feel the wave of relief that you don't have to fight.
I am buying my afternoon back for $5 of pride. I like that framing.
Exactly. See how that feels? You have to train the muscle of letting things go.
What about a money micropayment? How does that work?
Look at your sales pipeline or your project list. Is there a small project or a potential new lead that gives you just a little yellow flag? Not a screaming red flag, just a yellow one. A little feeling of, in your stomach.
The one you'd usually take just to be safe, to have the extra buffer.
That's the one. Turn it down. Say, you know what, I'm sorry, I don't have the capacity for that right now. It might cost you $500. It might cost you $200. Pay it. See if the roof collapses.
And it won't. It's exposure therapy. You realize the world continues to turn.
And you realize how unbelievably good it feels to not have that one item on your to-do list for the next 2 weeks. You've bought that space.
And for the time cost.
Yeah.
A micropayment for that.
Practice the boredom simulation. This is a tough one for our audience. Leave your phone at home and go for a 20-minute walk. No podcast to listen to. Sorry. Yeah. No music, no audiobook, just you and the street.
That sounds genuinely agonizing to people who are used to constant input.
It will be. For the first 5 minutes, you will reach for the phantom phone in your pocket. You will worry you're missing an urgent text. That anxiety you feel is the time cost. Pay it. Walk through it. I promise you, on the other side of that 20 minutes is a level of clarity you haven't felt in years.
These are all small steps, but they build the confidence, they build the muscle to make the big purchases later, the resignation letter, the actual breakup, the major business pivot.
Peace is a muscle. You don't walk into a gym and try to bench press 300 pounds on day one. You start with the empty bar. But the crucial thing is you have to show up to the gym. You have to start.
The hidden cost of peace. It really is hidden in plain sight, isn't it? We see the price tag on these choices every day and we turn away because we think it's a ripoff.
We think it's a ripoff because we fundamentally undervalue ourselves. We look at the cost and think, I'm not worth that much. My peace isn't worth losing this money or this status or this relationship.
But the source is telling us, you are the only asset that truly matters. If you allow yourself to depreciate, everything else in your life goes to zero eventually.
Beautifully put. That's the entire thesis right there.
So here is the challenge for this week. We're calling it an audit. We want you to look at your life, your personal ledger. Look at the drama. Look at your client list. Look at your relationships. Look at your habits.
And just identify the one line item that is costing you the most peace.
Yeah.
Just one. Don't get overwhelmed. Find the super stressor.
And then ask yourself the hard question from the source. What is the price to delete this line item? Is it $2,000 a month? Is it one really difficult, awkward conversation? Is it being lonely for a month while you find new friends?
Write the check in your head, or maybe for real. Figure out the price and then write the check.
Because if you start treating your peace like a luxury product, like that car you want or that house you're saving for, you'll realize it's the only luxury that actually appreciates in value over time.
And the final question is, can you afford to buy it? And maybe the answer is not comfortably, but the more important question is, can you really afford not to?
That's the question we want to leave you with. Thanks for diving deep with us.
See you next time.
Come on.
Thanks for spending this time with us on Coffee Break. If this conversation stayed with you, you can find more episodes here on the channel. Until next time, take care.